passe? C'est les vacances ou quoi?
J'en sais rien.
Ils porteront fruit jusque dans leur vieil âge. Toujours vigoureux et robustes, ainsi qu'ils proclament. Le Seigneur est juste, notre rang sur tout des mondes. J'ai péché. Comme vous tous, j'ai eu des pensées impures qui parfois ont mené à des actions impures. Des actions que j'expie tous les jours. C'est difficile de vivre avec l'exemple que Jésus nous a laissé. C'est une barre très haute pour des êtres imparfaits comme nous. Mais nos imperfections font partie du plan de Dieu. Ce sont des obstacles nécessaires à notre chemin vers lui. Nous devons donc les traverser, les surmonter, trouver un sens malgré tout. Bien que nous ne soyons pas souvent à la hauteur, nous ne devons pas renoncer. Nous devons nous concentrer sur ce qui est constructif. Abandonner nos erreurs et nos échecs. Puisque nous ne pouvons pas changer le passé. Nous devons plutôt lui demander de nous aider à changer la perception que nous en avons. En lui, nous trouverons notre salut. Nous recommencerons, baignés dans la pureté de sa lumière. Tous nos péchés seront lavés.
We're here at the 30th anniversary of the Hamptons Film Festival, speaking with
Ellie Foumbi.
And Souléymane Sy Savané.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Sure.
Tell me a little about your film.
So, Our Father the Devil is about an African immigrant who's leading a quiet life in a small town in the south of France until this African priest arrives and she recognizes him as the warlord who slaughtered her family.
Wow. Where did this subject matter?
I've been influenced by my father's work in the UN, and he worked in Rwanda after the genocide, and I had the opportunity to interact with a lot of the victims from the genocide, and in talking to them and specifically discussing the role of child soldiers during that war, I became really interested in that and who those children become as adults, and I realized that there weren't really any films that were made about that. Yeah.
How did you end up finding and linking up with your lead actors?
Well, Souleymane and I'm also an actor. We were actually cast in a short film together back in 2015.
Okay.
And I was a fan of his because he made a brilliant film called Goodbye Solo with Ramin Barani a couple of years ago. And I just felt like, he's amazing and I wanted to work with him. And we developed a friendship. And I wrote this role really with him in mind.
Do you have a specific scene that speaks to you as one of the most powerful in the film?
Well, I would say toward the end of the film.
Without giving away what the end
without
is.
giving away, yeah.
Emotions you were feeling and
It was like a roller coaster. I became overwhelmed with guilt. And I think for the first time I was really able to connect with somebody else's pain, a pain that I caused. We cause a lot of pain, we don't realize, we don't care, or we think, and then until we really are sitting and looking at the impact of the pain that we cause on somebody, and then we forced, in my case in the scene, we're forced to deal with it. And it was overwhelming. I mean, even when I watched it yesterday, I felt the same thing that I felt.
Where did
You
you
know.
end up shooting?
Yeah, in a small town in the Pyrenees.
The Pyrenees?
Yeah, in the south of France.
Oh, okay. How did you end up finding that location as your shoot?
Well, it's actually, when I was talking to my producer about it, I said I wanted to shoot in a small town and I was looking for a place with mountains. And he's actually from this town. It's called Luchon. And his mother is a documentary filmmaker. And I watched her doc and I was like, this is the perfect location. So we went there and visited. And of course, it's, you know, the kind of place where they don't get a lot of, you know, filming very often. So they were excited to receive us.
How was, speaking of reception, how was the opening screening for your film?
It was incredible, incredible. It's always nerve-wracking when you're screening in a new place because you don't really know how audiences are going to react to the film. But I was really touched. Everyone was very engaged in the Q&A. People were really wanting to know about the inception of the film and all of these different emotions and how we got to them. And I felt like the reception was incredible.
Absolutely.
How have you grown as a filmmaker since this film?
Oh.
So in your questions about as an actor.
Oh my gosh. Just the process of making this film. First of all, we shot during the pandemic. And I think really like learning how to just focus on the necessities already. Like when you're working on a micro budget, you can't really afford to like, you know, you have to be really clear on what your vision is and what you're shooting. And I think for me, just the focus on like my team particularly, because I worked with the same DP I'd worked with for several years, the same editor, same composer, same producer. I think like the importance of that like support around me and people that I trust who know my work, who know my aesthetic is so key. And I think moving forward, I'm gonna try to really keep those people around me, but also focus on like trimming as much fat as possible before you start shooting.
It's very good. So the editing is
Yes.
something that you need to
Yeah,
put together. And
absolutely.
And yourself as an actor.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was the question
The
again?
question was how have you grown as an actor after
Oh, well, I've grown tremendously. This role for me was very different from what I usually do. You know, I tend to play, I don't want to say lighter roles, but nothing as as heavy stuff. That was
There's also
very-
funny parts in it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, it allowed me to access a part of me that was that always been challenging, like the very heavily emotional part of me. That even as an actor, I didn't really like to visit. You know, it's like it opens it's like opening a wound. You know, you don't know what's gonna happen. It's kind of scary, very uncomfortable, and what it did though, what this movie did, it made that, not only it made it available, but it made a process to get there available to me.
Well, I'm so happy to learn about it. Where do people go to find out more about the film?
Well, we have an Instagram page, Our Father the Devil on Instagram, where we're updating every step of the way, where we're screening, and also we're in the process of hopefully locking in a distribution deal, so we will announce where the film will live, and where it will be released.